Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Well, hello, and welcome everybody to the Daily Dish. Today is Tuesday. You know what that means? We're having a good old time. Yes, look at this one, huh? What do you think of this guy? It's made out of stainless, and it's big as, it's 40 ounces. So cheers to you, Nancy. I do fill this up with hot milk. I do take this out on the court, and I drink the whole darn thing when I'm out playing the pickleball. So you guys know. Hi there, Sandy. Who else is here? We've got Mother Hen, of course, is in the house. Hello there, Doris. Good to have you here, my girl Sandy. It was so nice to see you one-to-one yesterday, Sandy. I really loved that. Hello, Catherine. There's my girl, Deborah. And who else is here? There's my girl, Sue and Anne. Look at you. All are here. And I'm so grateful because today's show, I think, is truly going to be transformative, especially for those of you who have, shall we say, overactive amygdalas. Hello, Jocelyn. It's so nice to have you here too. So, yes, who is sprinting this week? Give me some pinkies up in the comments if you are a sprinter. Boy, I've got a lot of things that I'm working on right now. You just would not believe my notebooks. They're just full of all kinds of stuff that we're working on, and I'm kind of delighted about it. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're doing that. Sandy said she's going to be taking notes. Mo, hello from all the way in Australia. I'm glad you're here. And who else did I just see? Yeah, we've got pinkies up. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. There we go. We've got the girls in the house. I got my blankie on my lap. I'm still a little chilly, but who cares, right? Now, the quote of the week. Can I just tell you? Can I just tell you? This one's a good jaw dropper. Again, a good one to add to your journal and really cogitate on this little one. Perfectionism is just a delay tactic fancied up to look respectable. Drop the mic. Isn't that amazing? It's just a delay tactic. They call it delay logic. What's delay logic? I don't know. But I say it's a delay tactic. Isn't it? Isn't that the truth? I feel like that's absolutely right, 100% on that. You know, because we kind of think better of ourselves when we are perfectionists because we think, oh, yes, 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 because we like to do things perfectly. We like to have things just so, and it's just, right? No. What it is it's procrastination dressed up. That's what it is. It's dressed up. It's delay. And when you finally decide to get on the stick, you recognize and realize that this whole idea of making things perfect, or yourself or your spouse or your family or your work or anything else, is absolute 100% garbage. Right? Am I right? Of course I am. I just think that's pretty freaking fantastic. Now, speaking of perfect, I know you all, I know me, and I know other women who are also human beings on this planet, and we don't do things perfectly, including eating perfectly. I feel good about 90% of the time eating very well. But there's 10% of the time where I go for my carb cutter because I know I'm not going to eat perfectly. This is a game changer, y'all. It's white kidney bean extract. And it helps tremendously with your carbohydrate intake. If you are anything like me and you have any kind of carb sensitivity, I will tell you, I'm fine. as long as I just eat salads and eat green vegetables and eat a lot of protein. The minute I look at a potato with like a come hither stare, or even, God forbid, eat bread or anything like that, it's over. Up goes my weight. It's inflammatory for me. However, Carb Cutter has changed that. Mark takes it now. We keep a bottle in the car because when we go out and we go someplace and we know we're going to be eating something, it's a little off the normal place. Here we go. Carb Cutter. This is amazing stuff, and this is really great. Highly recommend it. savingdinner.com/show. If you buy 3, you're going to get 1 for free. And then guess what you can do? You can put 1 in your car, put 1 in your purse, and keep 1 on the countertop because you never know. It's a game changer, y'all. Game changer. There you go. That's what I have. Anyway, what else? Is there anything else I'm supposed to tell you? Well, tonight, for everybody who is a part of our Take Back Your Body class, we're going to be having our class tonight. And boy, I can't wait to teach it. It's going to be good. I have a little teaching to go with it, and some stories, and we're going to talk about this. And don't forget, be there 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, you should get your link. If you don't have your link, go into Slack, put a little message in there and say, what's that link again? Always check your email. I promise you, Jenny is really good at those emails. She gets them out to you with all the things. And get your hot seats in too. Please, we need your hot seats. And lastly, if you're dealing with unwanted cravings, well, we have a thing for that too. This is L-glutamine. It is an amino acid. Helps, amazing. Put it in your water. Sometimes I put hot milk and L-glutamine in my water if I'm feeling a little munchy. Makes a difference. Sometimes I just use it like straight from the powder right onto the jar, onto the gums and tongue, because it has instantly proven to stop unwanted cravings. It's a brain part. It's a brain thing. That's what it is. It's not that your mouth is out of control. It's your brain is out of control. And that's what L-glutamine helps to regulate. Amazing stuff. You can get yours at savingdinner.com/LG, like L-glutamine. Pretty cool, huh? Just thought I'd tell you about it. You know me, I've got all the things, and I'm always going to share it with you. So today, buckle up, girlfriends. We're going on a big bumpy ride. Who's ready? Are you ready to do it with me? Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about fear and how to really understand fear. Have you ever even thought about that? What we talk about? We talk about our fear. We say this is our fear. We share our fear. We shiver with fear. But do we ever really go to the place of understanding the whys about fear? Because honestly, and you know this, your amygdala is basically the fear factor in your brain, the fear factory, I should say, in your brain, just trying to keep you safe because it's a primitive response. It is the knee jerk. It's powerful, it's potent, and it's natural. Of course it is. This is how you kept safe from big animals who are ready to eat you alive head first. So it alerts us about danger and it keeps us safe and all of the rest of it. But fear, I believe, is less overcome and more understood. I will say that again. The way to deal with fear is to more understand what it is and to be less about trying to overcome it. I'm going to explain why. So Marie Curie, I've got lots of really juicy quotes for you on this whole thing. Don't forget, you can get the notes. The notes are going to be in tomorrow's newsletter. All you have to do is go to Saving Dinner and get your newsletter and you're good to go, okay? But this is some good stuff here. And this is change my life stuff, right? Change your life stuff. So hear me on this and really listen well. Let's do this together. Marie Curie said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." Isn't it true? Have you ever been fearful about something and when you understood it, you weren't fearful anymore. We're fearful about going to the doctor, maybe, and then we go through to the doctor and we get, do the test or do the exam or whatever. And it's done, it's over with. And then we understood what it was all about, and it was less than we thought. Sometimes it could be more, but it will actually feed this idea that it's not as bad as I thought. And that makes the fear less and takes the trepidation out of it. So if we understand the source, we can understand then there are many faces of fear, right? This is really a helpful thing to understand, because fear isn't just this abject terror in your heart, but it keeps you away and holds you back from going forward into doing the next thing. Maybe saying, yes, I'd love to, or no, I can't do that. Oftentimes fear, shrouded in indecision, will do that to us too. Ooh, is this ringing any bells? Yikes. So we understand that fear is meant to keep us safe, but sometimes fear is also inappropriate, and we're reacting like when we were 4 years old, afraid of the dog, afraid of the stranger, afraid of the fill in the blank. And we're still holding on to that old fear that is no longer appropriate, that is no longer relative to the life we're leading now. Interestingly, because we don't question it. We don't sit there and say, how can I understand what this fear is all about? Hi, Julie. So instead of wallowing and basically celebrating fear by keeping it at the top of mind, you examine the situation. Simple. Examine the situation. Change the dialogue. Here's a good example. Instead of saying, I could never do that. Why are we saying that? It's a focus on fear. Now, there's appropriate times. I will say that to bungee jumping. I could never do that. I am focused on the fear of banging my head against a cliff. And also there's no particularly logical reason for me to need to have to jump off a cliff to do this. I don't have anything to prove. So that's a valid fear. I'm just going to keep away from that. But I could never do that. Maybe, volunteering to do something for the first time, or giving a speech, or whatever else it is, right? Sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's just taking a trip on an airplane, or going to a foreign country, and on and on and on it goes. But if we look at it and say, maybe I don't know that I'm exactly ready right now today, but I might just give it a try. So when you say I could never do that, that focus is all based 100% on fear. When you say, maybe I'm ready, maybe I'm not, but I'm going to give it a stab, I'm going to give it a try, you're focused on possibility. And possibility always is a door opener. Fear is not. It slams the door shut. And it keeps you hidden. It keeps you in the dark. And it keeps you away from possibly the vibrant life you're trying to lead. Think about that. So the Paulo I can never say his name, Coelho, he wrote the book The Alchemist, if you've read it, said it brilliantly. I think this is such a good thing. Don't give in to your fears, or you won't be able to talk to your heart. We have this discord between our head and our hearts. And when we get them together, this is one of the reasons why I want you to meditate. There's this beautiful harmony, and it helps us to have that kind of a conversation. It helps us to have the dialogue from the heart. And the dialogue from the heart is so incredibly important, because the dialogue from the heart is the thing that's saying, these are the things that I hotly desire. These are the things that I want. This is the thing that would light up my life vibrantly, right? And our brain is just trying to figure it out and how to do it, the how-tos and all of that. And all I will say to you is this: if you're able to talk to your heart and talk about the desire and the emotion that's connected with it and all of the rest of it, the connector part, which is your brain, will start to maybe disconnect some of the fear that's possibly associated with that unknown. It'll get you to a place of looking for possibility, seeking evidence to support the thing that you want, and finding yourself in a whole new place. You see the possibilities there? Instead of the door slamming shut on possibility and keeping you in the fear factory. So the little shift in dialogue is a shift in understanding who's really running your life, right? And this is where we draw the line, because you get to run your life, not your fear. We talk about this oftentimes, and you probably heard me say this, but tell your amygdala to take a seat. And the clapping is just merely to get your attention and to get into the place of like, oh, what's going on here? Because our brains, on some aspects, can be very primitive. That we have the brainstem and all of that keeps things going, and then we have the highly complex prefrontal cortex. This is why I always call it the moneymaker, because this is the computer chip in your brain. This is the ability to abstract think and to conceptualize and to put things in context. A lot of people don't use that very much, unfortunately. And my invitation to you is to first understand that when fear is driving the car, it's, going 30 miles an hour, sitting, on the freeway, hugging that curve on the road. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been in a traveling and seen somebody on the highway absolutely like this, holding on for dear life? And unfortunately, most of the time they're 10 miles under the speed limit in the left lane, right? Fear is driving their car, not the rules of the road, and certainly not their desire to get to their destination. We need to be driving those cars, y'all. We have to quit giving it up to fear. Fear is not a good driver, by the way. So your understanding is reteaching yourself that you're okay and that you have nothing to fear. Do you believe that? I believe that with all of my heart, because this idea of fearlessness, my friend Rhonda Britton wrote a book about fearlessness, and she's got quite a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. She says that fearlessness is really just making peace with the crap you went through, right? That's one of the things that she says. She says being willing to make you able. Now, Rhonda went through quite a trauma, and if you've ever seen her speak, her last name is spelled Britten. She's brilliant, and I am proud that she's a friend of mine, because I love her. Everything about her is just incredible. And one of the things that she went through, one of the horrible things that she went through when she was a child, was seeing her father shoot her mother, and then take the gun and then put it on her, and then change his mind and shoot himself. She witnessed that, and the trauma that she lived through and all the stuff that she went through to get to the other side was incredible. And one of the things that she had to deal with was the fear. She numbed herself out. She had all kinds of stuff. So when you say you're frozen with fear, I'll tell you what, nobody gets it better than Rhonda. She understands. She stood there frozen with fear when all of this happened. It's a visceral thing to watch her give this speech, by the way. And what she says is you're robbing yourself of all that you can be if you just stay there. And again, she knows after the trauma she's been through. And here's where her biggest quote is, and I will tell you, if anybody could say this more passionately, I don't know of that person, but it's Rhonda. And she says, complaining advertises your fears. Now, for those of you who are out there complaining about the littlest things, the weather, the fact that maybe you had a flat tire in the morning, I mean, it's inconvenient. Yeah, there's worse things. And when we have that perspective, and when we have that gratitude practice in place, that's one of Rhonda's things. She has a gratitude practice in place every single day. We find ourselves less compelled to complain. And it's, by the way, it's just a really bad, lousy habit. It also keeps our fears alive. because we complain about oftentimes the things that are an inconvenience, but we're also building up a wall that keeps us from having to deal with the fear, you know? So risk is outside of your comfort zone, which moves you from fear to freedom. And risk is precisely the thing your amygdala doesn't want to do. Your amygdala wants to run the show. Your amygdala is the fear center of your brain. But taking it back and telling your amygdala to take the seat is for you to say, my prefrontal cortex is the most incredible mechanism that I own. It's true. And that is the thing that is going to take you to the next level, to logically figure out what's next, to understand that you do not need to live by fear, and to see yourself in the very best possible light. Now, I don't believe that we can ever live fearlessly, but I believe a lot of the fears that we all have are all based on garbage that is just past tense. We need to reevaluate them. And we need to understand that while we may never get rid of all the fear, most of it is old, falling apart. And I call it the fear fence, and you can just knock it down with your hand. You just push on it and knock it all down. You know, there's a truth trench that's around your courage castle. That's what we talked about in one of our full blooms. I think it was in 2021. And that truth trench is the truth of who you are. And remember that. And as you affirm yourself, I'm courageous, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm able, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, I am here on purpose and for purpose, I am on the purpose path, and on you go. That's your truth trench. What do you think it does to that fear fence? It extinguishes the fire of that truth of that fear fence. And it gives you access to the courage castle, which is your heart, which is you. You are courageous. That's in your DNA. You were made that way by the Creator himself. Isn't that exciting? So there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. You ever hear that? So my son, that's 1 John 4:18, for those of you who are keeping track, my son, when he was 18 years old, had these big old praying hands of God right there, tattooed on his chest, much to his mother's chagrin. And he said, but Mom, look underneath it. And underneath it, it says, perfect love casts out fear. When he was 7 years old, he had a torsion. Now, if you know what that is, great. If you don't, I'm going to explain it. A torsion is when a testicle twists inside the scrotal sac, right? And his testicle had twisted, and his scrotum was turning purple. That is a life-threatening problem. We were over in the foothills of North Carolina, and we had to rush him to the hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina, for a surgery. He had to have emergency surgery. And I remember at the time, he was holding on to me for dear life. He was in such pain, he was just absolutely beside himself. And all he wanted was his mom. That's how kids are when they're that age. And I was holding on to him as long as I could. And I said, honey, remember, perfect love casts out fear. And I said, who's perfect love? He said, Jesus, Mom. And I said, he's with you, honey. And he said, okay. And as he's being wheeled out, I still get teary when I talk about this. As he's getting wheeled away, and I couldn't go with him. I went as far as I could. I looked at him, and he was going, perfect love casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. I invite you to that Bible verse and use that for yourself, because perfect love does cast out fear. It does. Casts it out, rejects it, takes it out, doesn't allow it to dwell within. Perfect love casts out fear. So Peter did that as a 7-year-old, going into an emergency surgery where they're going to be doing emergency surgery on his most personal bits. You can do that as a grown woman. You can do that as a woman who is determined to live on purpose and for purpose as vibrantly as she's been called to live. That's your mission. And when you accept that mission, you're going to recognize that fear has no place at all in your life. Amen? That's all I have for you today. But I will tell you that tomorrow is Wednesday. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. I've got some more good stuff for you. Don't forget about Carb Cutter. Here it is. You find it at savingdinner.com/show. Go get it. You will not regret it. It's one of my favorite supplements. Wouldn't be without it. I will see you tomorrow for Wise Women's Wednesday. Until then, peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.